Hello, my name is Ashley Zayas, and I'm the Advising Center Coordinator for the College of Science Advising Center. We wanted to welcome you to Cal Poly Pomona, specifically the College of Science. We're so glad that you chose a major within the College of Science, and so we wanted to provide this video for you to help you with resources and information, and just kind of share some updates and recap some information that you may have received at orientation. All right, so first we have our fall 2021 important dates. So this has all the important dates for the term. We typically will email this out once a semester just so that you're aware of what dates you should be looking out for. This calendar has information about registration, about adding and dropping or withdrawing from classes, etc. Now, one of the dates that I did want to highlight, or a few dates that I wanted to highlight, are upcoming dates for spring registration. So spring registration actually happens in October. So October 11th through the 12th, the spring 2022 priority registration begins. And October 13th through December 1st, the spring 2022 general registration begins. And so we just wanted to kind of highlight that. There's also some other important dates about when to withdraw if you're having issues in classes and you need to withdraw for certain reasons, holidays, finals, when certain fees are due. So we'd really encourage you to take a look at this calendar and check your Cal Poly Pomona email for this calendar. All right, so some tips for success. These are just some tips that we put together through the years and that we have found that students find useful, and that when they do follow these tips, they are actually successful. So first is regularly check your Cal Poly Pomona email. This is very, very important. I know a lot of you may have put in maybe a personal email when you first started at Cal Poly, but we will no longer be communicating with you via that personal email. The email communication that you'll be receiving is to your Cal Poly Pomona email address. So you'll want to be sure that you get into a regular habit of checking that at least once a day. That is the official way that the university will communicate with you. Next is regularly check your Bronco Direct account. I have some slides that I'll be showing in a few minutes, but looking at your Bronco Direct account to make sure that you're taking care of any holds, any fees, or anything that may hinder you from registering. Also, though, just making sure that you're updating your contact information and that we know the best way to reach you. Next is understanding how to read your degree progress report. So we often refer to it as a DPR. The degree progress report is very important for you to understand. Anytime you usually meet with an advisor, that's the first thing that we're going to pull up with you and work through with you. And so it's very important that you understand that. And there'll be some slides and some videos that I'll show in just a second that'll kind of explain that process. The next tip is be aware of advising and registration timelines. So in the previous slide, I kind of showed the calendar of important dates and deadlines when it comes to registration and advising. And so you just want to be sure that you're putting those dates on your calendar. You'll also get a lot of reminders via email as well. As soon as your registration date opens up, you want to be sure that you have classes in your shopping cart and are ready to go. Next is take 30 units per year to stay on track for graduation. So that's about 15 units a semester. If you're not able to do 15 units a semester or don't choose to do that, we would encourage you to take some classes in the summer. We do have a robust summer schedule that we offer typically every summer, and so we'd encourage you to do that. Next is get involved in clubs and organizations, which create a connection and belonging to the campus. Especially in this hybrid fall term, we'd really encourage you to still connect with clubs and organizations on campus. And so there'll be some information that'll be sent to you and how to sign up for clubs and organizations, and we encourage you to definitely look into those opportunities. Next is academic difficulties. We really would encourage you to seek out help if you are struggling. One of those resources is talking to your faculty member from the certain course that you may be struggling in, visiting maybe them during their office hours, letting them know what's going on. Another resource would be getting tutoring. So through the Learning Resource Center, we have academic excellence we have academic workshops or study skill workshops that can maybe help you with that. The other thing though, and the last one, is regular advising. So we have a lot of information and a lot of different options to support you. However, if you don't reach out for help, we're not going to know that you're struggling. So we'd really encourage you to reach out to our office or reach out to a faculty advisor or department chair to get the help and assistance that you need. Now, again, these are just some of the tips that we have. that we wanted to share with you in order to help you be successful in your time here at Cal Poly Pomona. All right, so next thing that we wanted to discuss is curriculum sheets, roadmaps, and more. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen here and show you a curriculum sheet. So the curriculum sheet is essentially your contract with the university. So it tells you everything that you need to complete in order to graduate from Cal Poly Pomona. And so the curriculum sheet that we're going to be looking at is from fall 21 to 2022, because that is the year that you started here at Cal Poly Pomona. As you can see, there's many other years that are open and available to view. However, because you're admitted in fall 2021, we're going to be looking at 2021 to 2022. We're going to click College of Science, and then we'll just do biology. So you may be very familiar with this document as a science major because you talked about this at orientation. And so this essentially just tells you all the classes that you need to complete. Now I'm going to first start off with at the very top, it always tells you what degree you're looking at, so biology, and then it tells you the minimum units required. 120 units are required in order for you to graduate at Cal Poly Pomona. Now, if you're a transfer student, some of you may have close to almost 120 units. That doesn't mean that you're close to graduation. What that means is you just have some units that have been applied maybe from previous institutions. You have to meet the 120 units, but you also have to complete every single requirement that's listed on this curriculum sheet. So there's a two-part there to graduation. Now, general education requirements, those do not change regardless of your major. And so there are 48 units required for general education. There are certain areas and sub areas. You have to take one class per each sub area. So 1A1, 1A2, 1A3, etc. Now, if you are a fall 2021 incoming transfer student, you will actually follow the 2020 general education pattern, just the general education pattern, not the major pattern. This prevents students from being impacted by the 2021 general education pattern change. The new GE that came out this past year is Area F. If you're a freshman, you are going to have to take Area F. If you are a transfer, you're going to be following the 2020 general education pattern, and that does not require Area F. We would recommend that you consult the 2020 to 2021 catalog for GE requirements, and I'll show you that in a second, including what areas are needed and what courses will fulfill each area of requirement. In addition, fall 2021 transfer students will also need to complete the American Cultural Perspectives requirement. So there are two requirements here, or there used to be American institutions. So you have to take US history and American government. And there's also another requirement that did exist before, which was called an American Cultural Perspectives requirement. Needless to say, if you have any questions about what GE pattern you're following, if you're a transfer student, feel free to consult our office and we'd be happy to support you. All right, next is major required. So every curriculum sheet has a major required list. Now the amount of units differs from major to major. Some may have 64, biology has 56. So it really just kind of depends. Now for major required, you have to take every single course listed here, unless there's an or. So for example, for this particular major, students can take either Chem 2010, Lecture and Lab, which is Elements of Organic Chemistry, or Organic Chemistry 1, which is Chem 3140 Lecture and Lab. So they don't have to do both, but they do have to do one of these sets. So either this combination of Lecture and Lab or this combination of Lecture and Lab. Or for example, for calculus, you as a biology major have an option to take Math 1140 or Math 1200. But other than that, you have to take every single course listed in this first area. The next piece is most majors have what's called major electives. So that's the other component to meet the 120 units. These are where you can kind of pick and choose maybe what emphasis you might want to emphasize in, or kind of tailor your curriculum to what you want to do after you graduate. And so this is very, very important to kind of understand. We usually encourage you to work with a faculty member to kind of pick and choose what electives you should be taking, or what emphasis maybe you want to focus on. All right, now, a few other things that I wanted to highlight about the curriculum sheet. One is that there are certain classes that fulfill 2 requirements. And what I mean by that is, for example, when you take Bio 1210 lecture and lab, there's a little B2 and B3 indicator. What that means is it covers the major required class, and it also covers the life science and laboratory activity in GE. Now, for most of our science majors, most of the classes that are going to count is in area B. All the other areas, usually you get to pick and choose what classes you want to take that are not necessarily related to your major. The reason why I want to tell students this is I don't want them to take extra GEs that they do not need. So you want to be sure that you're always referencing your curriculum sheet. All right. Next thing I wanted to pull up is a roadmap. So this is a guide. Again, I want to emphasize just a guide. You do not have to follow this exactly, but this is a guide that you can use in order to pick and choose how you want to pair your classes. And so a lot of students will say, you know, I want a 4-year plan. This is actually a 4-year plan that was made for you by the department. What's neat about this tool is that it also has the prerequisites listed here. So prerequisites, again, are courses that you need to take in order to take a certain course. So what we mean by that, for example, is for chemistry, you have to take a certain math class or take the ALEX math placement test in order to place into chemistry. And so that's important to note. Again, this is just a guide. So if you don't follow this exactly, that's okay. All right. Besides the curriculum sheet and roadmap, the next resource that I wanted to show you is the university catalog. So the catalog already defaults to 2021 to 2022. For you freshmen, that is totally fine because this is the catalog that you should be following and looking at. They actually have a bunch of different policies and services, and you can read about all different types of things through the catalog. One of the areas that I wanted to highlight is general education program. Now this page has a course list of all the GEs that are mentioned on your curriculum sheet and what classes you can take per area. So let's say you need to do an A1. You have a choice between COM 1100 or COM 2204. And so you may want to know what the difference is. You can actually click this link and it'll tell you a little description of this specific course. Again, as a reminder, you only need to take one course from each sub area. All right. Now, if you are a fall 2021 transfer student, then remember your GE pattern is a little bit different. So you'll want to change the catalog to 2020 to 2021 and then click general education program and the list link so that you can see the GEs and the GE pattern that was applicable in 2020 to 2021. Now, the biggest differences between the two is that area F course that I talked about. So in the newer curriculum that just was released this year, we don't have a D3 anymore, we have an area F. In the 2020 curriculum, we have a D3 and no area F. So that's the difference there. The other cool thing about the catalog is you can always put in any single course and find out what the curriculum, what the prerequisites are for each course. So for physics 1210, the prerequisite is a C- or better in Math 106, which is our trigonometry course, calculus or calculus 2. So this is also a really neat tool to use. All right. So it's just a little rundown of curriculum sheets, roadmaps, and just additional resources. All these links that I've gone over just right now, I will put in the description in the YouTube channel just so that you'll be able to access those as well. All right, next we have our degree progress report and transfer credit review. So I really talk about this. I talked about this at the beginning. I'm going to mention it again. Your degree progress report is essentially a digital version of your curriculum sheet. So instead of you having to mark off each and every single course, the degree progress report does that for you. There's also a video on how to view your transfer credit report. So as a transfer student, you definitely want to be sure to know how to use that report. Or if you're a freshman or transfer and have some AP credit, advanced placement credit, or IB credit, or a CLEP test credit, you'd also be able to view that on your transfer credit report. Since we're currently in a video right now, I'm not going to play another video, but these are also links that I'll also provide to you as well. What I do want to click though is just highlighting the YouTube channel that houses all these videos. Office of Student Success or the Bronco Advising Center has put together a bunch of videos and resources to show you how to navigate Bronco Direct. And they're really helpful and useful because they're usually under 2 to 3 minutes. And so you can quickly kind of know how to add and drop a class, how to apply for graduation, how to search for classes, how to view your transfer credit report, view your degree progress report, etc. So we really encourage you to check out this channel or maybe bookmark this link so that you can easily access these how-to guides. All right, so a student center screenshot. I wanted to kind of show you what a normal student center kind of looks like. When you log into Bronco Direct, you'll see on the Student Center your fall 2021 schedule, your holds area, a to-do list area, and enrollment dates. Now holds, depending on the type of hold, it may prevent you from registering for classes. So it's important that you click each hold and read what the hold does or what's intended to do. And so if you need to do something, that you take care of that before you register for classes. Your to-do list could be, submitting immunization records, creating an academic plan, or creating some direct loan entrance counseling for financial aid. So you always want to make sure that you're looking at the to-do list items as well. It's kind of like your checklist. And then enrollment dates are down here below. This is very important because a lot of students don't realize enrollment dates are very important at Cal Poly. So once the enrollment date opens for you, let's say it opens on a Tuesday at 7 a.m. You want to be sure that you're on the computer ready to go on Tuesday, whatever the date may be, at 7 a.m. It's very, very important so that you get the first chance of registering for classes because classes do fill up pretty quickly. So this particular student is a brand new student and their registration date started on June 25th at 1 p.m. and ended on July 2nd. And so it's important that they registered for classes during that window. Like I said, though, you'd want to make sure that you try and register as close as you can to June 25th at 1 p.m. so you can get, the most available classes, etc. Now, there's also a contact information area. I purposely left this out, but you want to make sure that you're always updating the contact information. So like your address, phone number, email, you need to be checking your Cal Pipeline email. So email doesn't really matter as much, but your address and phone number definitely does. All right, so your degree progress report. These are just some screenshots. The video that I shared earlier, the link to that, will kind of go into a little bit more detail, but I wanted to highlight some of these points as well as an academic advisor. So first things first is at the very top, it'll show you your program and your plan. So undergraduate, baccalaureate, so the student is an undergrad student, biotechnology major, and they started in fall 2021. Always very important to know when the student started at Cal Poly Pomona so that they're following the correct curriculum. This student obviously is a brand new student, so it doesn't have a GPA for overall GPA or Cal Poly Pomona GPA. But when the term finishes, they will have a GPA. And then a legend to kind of explain what different icons mean. So if you see a green check mark, that means the course has been completed. A yellow diamond means you're currently enrolled in that class, and a red box may mean requirement not completed. So as a newer student at Cal Poly Pomona, you're probably going to see a lot more red boxes than green check marks, unless maybe let's say you're a transfer student. But as a freshman, you're probably going to see, again, a lot more yellow maybe and red boxes than the green. Now you'll always want to click expand all so you can see all areas of the report. Again, this report is applicable to you specifically. So it's going to take into account everything you registered for, everything you've taken, and if you have any AP credit. Now, what I wanted to show you is just kind of a quick report of a transfer credit example. So this particular student received some scores here as their AP scores. And so they took multiple tests through their AP exams. And some of them they passed with a 3 or higher, some they did not. And so for that reason, if they passed with a 3 or higher, then their degree progress report would actually be marked off with the green check mark here. So this would, for example, they passed AP English, Language, and Literature. And so therefore that corresponds to our Area A2 general education course. And that class has been marked off with the green check mark. There is no APs to cover A1 or A3. And so that's why there's a red box listed. Now, this is a transfer credit report example of a transfer student. This transfer student transferred in from Citrus and Mount Sac. And so they receive certain credit for certain courses. The class that we wanted to kind of highlight today is Bio 1210 Lecture and Lab. So this student took Biology 4 at Mount Sac on assist.org that articulates to Bio 1210 Lecture and Lab. And so on their degree progress report, they're going to have Bio 1210 Lecture and Lab marked off. And so you can kind of see that there. They also receive credit for Bio 1220 Lecture and Lab, and so that's marked off. They did not receive credit for biostatistics, so that's still a red box. All right, so some other helpful resources that we wanted to give to you before we end today's video are just some other things that you can kind of check out on your own. And again, we will share these links in the video description. So first thing is our Advising Center website. So you are a College of Science student, and therefore we are your Advising Center. So we have a shared relationship with faculty and the staff within our office. And so you may meet with a staff member or someone from your department specifically. Closer to registration, you'll receive an email that kind of tells you who you should be receiving advising from. So this is our website here. We have our contact information, our email, and our phone number. Feel free to always send us an email or call us, or if you are on campus, you can come visit us in building 3, room 1645. We also have social media accounts that we really encourage you to follow because we put important information about your academics and reminders on our social media accounts. Now, depending on the term, we usually will have, well, every term we offer advising appointments through CPP Connect, which is our advising platform. And we usually will offer some sort of drop-in hour system as well. Closer to the fall term or in the fall term, this page will be updated. We just have not updated it yet for the fall term. There's also just very important information about advising and just all other kinds of resources that we would encourage you to check out on our website. The next is our Canvas module. So this is the module that you looked at during orientation. The reason why we wanted to bring this up again is because you can actually meet your department and learn more about your department. So if you haven't done so already, we have all of your department specific information that includes curriculum sheets, roadmaps, and a little video that your department chair has specifically done for you. So we encourage you to get to know more about biological sciences or chemistry and biochemistry, whatever your department may be. And we'd encourage you to check out these videos and also know where your department is located, what their email address is, and what their phone number is. Next, we have CPP Connect. So this is our CPP Connect, again, our platform for advising and tutoring. So you're able to actually make appointments for tutoring, for advising, for career advising. Some of your faculty may also be available on here to make appointments. And so this is a very important resource. So not only can you schedule advising appointments, but you can also use the planner, which helps you plan for your path toward graduation. There are how-to videos here for both of these to how to make an appointment and also how to make a path to graduation. So it's very important that you check out these resources. If we continue to scroll down, there's additional how-to videos on how to set up your CPP Connect planner. And for our brand new students, there's specific information just for you as well. All right. Next, we have what's called Bronco 411. This is our directory for the campus. And so if you are trying to find a certain staff member or faculty member's email address, you can always put in their name here. So let's say Dr. Laura Chase, our kinesiology department chair, and click search. And it'll tell you where they're located, and it provides a contact form that will actually go straight to her Cal Poly email address. And so you're able to do that Also, though, if you log in at the top right-hand corner, it'll actually provide you her direct email address as well. So this is a very important resource to have and to know how to navigate. The other resource that we wanted to show you is the Learning Resource Center information and department. So the Learning Resource Center is just an area where you can learn about academic skills, study skills, and receive any assistance through tutoring as well. So under student resources, there's information. There's also tutoring resources here as well. And so there's a bunch of different information and resources through this office. And so we'd really encourage you to check out their offices as well to help with to help with difficulty in courses. The next one is our registration guides. And this was actually created by Office of Student Success. And so it kind of shows you how to register for classes with different important information such as charts and little videos on how to view your enrollment appointment, as I kind of mentioned earlier, descriptions of priority registration, general registration, add drop period, holds. So this is really a very important tool, especially because you may have registered for classes at orientation, but when you register for spring, you're going to be registering on your own. So you may not necessarily know how to do that. And so this guide will be very helpful. Again, all these links will be provided to you in the video. Now, in addition to registration guide, there's also what's called Student Success Central, which has advising and academic resources, such as all the different tools and things that I mentioned earlier. It has some fall 2021 new student resources. It has a first year checklist. And so it has a bunch of different resources, virtual advising and academics toolkit. And so a bunch of information that we'd really encourage you to check out as well. All right. Before we wrap up today, just wanted to again reiterate, we are here for you. We're excited for you. There's a lot of resources and information that are available to you, and we want to make sure that you are informed and that you stay in the know. One of the things that we did want to highlight is if you are struggling in a course or in all of your courses, please reach out for help. You can utilize campus resources such as tutoring, connect with faculty during office hours, maybe connect with our counseling center if maybe you need to connect with someone, or our disability resource center if maybe you might need an accommodation. The other thing though is you can always contact our advising center as well. We are here to help you. We will provide our information again in the video description. It's also in our website as well. And we are happy to support you and kind of point you in the direction that you may need to follow. And last but not least, these are our social media accounts. So we really encourage you to follow us on social media. We'd love to connect with you that way and give you reminders as you're kind of navigating your time here at Cal Poly Pomona. Thank you so much, and we hope that we will see you soon. Bye-bye.